welcome to episode number 244 of eBay the Right Way. Today's date is November 19th, 2025. My guest is Paula in Texas. No announcements this week, so we will get started right away.
Okay, listeners, we have a special guest with us today who is going to fill us in on Chat GPT and AI and all the things that we want to learn. So, how are you doing this morning, Paula?
Suzanne, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Oh, my pleasure. I was thrilled when you reached out. I was like, yes, yes, when can we do this? So, can you give us a little bit of background about how you came to eBay and what your full-time job is and how all this works together?
Yeah, I'd love to. Um, I My current eBay account I started in 2016. And I don't know if that was my first eBay account. I think it was my second, but I got into it way back then because I found I loved crafting and in particular beading. And I had this fantasy that I was going to make beautiful things out of beads, sell them on eBay, and be able to quit my soul sucking job as a marketing researcher.
That's not a fantasy. That's an inspired idea.
Well, it
Just
turns
because it
out,
hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't.
well, in my case, it turns out the only thing I was really good at was buying beads. So I had zero artistic talent, but I loved buying beads, and I learned a little bit about eBay. And over the years, I would post something every now and then. And frankly, Suzanne, it was a miracle that I sold anything. I'm not a natural photographer. Back then, I didn't know anything about titles or descriptions or, or pricing or research. I knew nothing. So it's really amazing. I think I had 65 sales between 2016 and 2020. You know, I mean,
Okay.
I bought more stuff than I sold on eBay.
Well, that's a common situation because the treasure hunting and the buying is that dopamine hit. It's listing. Well, in your case, you had to make stuff to sell, so kind
Yeah.
of a longer process.
Well, and then COVID hit, and I was at home with my husband, and I looked at him, and I realized I'm in this 25-year marriage, and the first 10 years were great, and then something went south, and I just knew. I said I have to get divorced, and it scared me, and I knew how it was going to go down. I knew that he would stay in the house, he would keep the house, and I would get a cash out from him. And I was even further scared because one of my girlfriends said to me, "Hey, sis, let me tell you about dating in your 60s." She said, "The odds are good, but the goods are odd. So just be careful." So I was like, oh my God, what's going to happen
Okay,
here?
wait, let's put some perspective. What year were you born?
65.
Oh, okay. So
19.
you just turned 60 this year.
Yes, I just turned 60 this year.
Okay, because
She's
you
a
sure
little
don't
bit
look
older
it.
than me. But I thought that was very funny, and I decided at that point I need to downsize. I need to start getting rid of stuff because I knew divorce was inevitable. So I upped my eBay game, and again, it was a miracle I sold anything because again I hadn't bothered to teach myself anything because I didn't know about you at that time, even though you were around. And I'm just slapping stuff up. I made some sales, probably made sold a dozen things, and then I ended up giving the all the stuff that didn't sell immediately. I gave to my best friend who is in the estate sale business,
Mm.
and so I've known her. I met her in 2008 when I left the corporate world and started my own business as a marketing consultant. She was at that time teaching a class here in Fort Worth called How to Start a Business. So we became instant best friends, and I watched her evolve. And she went into the estate sale business right before COVID, but
Oh,
kept busy at it. And uh, when I left my husband, I moved in with Tony. I rent her old mother-in-law suite. It's two private bedrooms with a private bathroom. And
perfect.
so, oh, I know. It's a great deal. She, bless her heart, she only charges me $500 a month. So one room's my office and one room is my bedroom, and then I have the bathroom. So I start hanging around with her as she's going to these estate sales that she's producing. And I'm
Right.
meeting these people that are full-time resellers. They're pickers and resellers. And I met a guy who does nothing but what does he do? Stamps. I met a guy that does nothing but rocks. I met a guy that does nothing but Star Wars and Star Trek stuff. So my mind really opened up to how these people are having fun in this industry and doing things they love. So, but I still wasn't ready to dive back into eBay, mainly because I love my day job. I have great clients. I'm very happy with my job. But I'm always on the lookout because my 3 largest clients are well past retirement age. So once they go, that's 80% of my income.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to have to do something else, whether it's get out there and start networking and get new clients, or maybe become a reseller myself. So all this is moving around. And then I fast forward to 2003, and as the odds would have it, I met a guy, and he was a widower.
Wait, do you mean 2023?
I'm sorry, 2023.
Okay, good. Because I was like, that was way before your divorce. What's
Oh,
happening?
no. 2023.
Gotcha.
And he was a recent widower. He'd only been widowed about 10 months.
Uh-huh.
And but we're texting, we're talking on the phone, we go out on a couple of dinner dates, we're really liking each other, we're having a good time, and I'm ready to take things to the next level. I'm ready to do the hokey pokey, if you know what I mean, right? And, and he says to me, okay, Paula, I'm going to show you my house now. I said, okay, great.
Uh-oh.
I know, right?
I'm thinking a hoarder situation.
My girlfriend who told me, let me tell you about dating in the 60s, the odds are good, but the goods are odd. And so this is screaming in my head. And I'm thinking, okay, let's see. And I go over there. And I was flabbergasted. Yes, it was a hoarder house. There were pathways you could barely squeeze through. He had not touched anything since his wife passed 10 months previously. He just was stuck. He didn't know how, couldn't do anything. And what had happened in the few years preceding her passing, she showed horses. So she had a heart attack and passed unexpectedly, but she had in her household a whole lifetime of stuff. She loved to go antiquing with her mom, but her mom had passed, so she inherited everything in her mother's large house. Her father had passed. They inherited everything in their father's large house. And then Mike's parents also passed. So in his house was a lifetime of stuff. I remember in one of your introductory videos in your premium library, you say everybody's got 7,000 things they could put on eBay right now. So
Okay.
he had that by 4. And he did not know what to do with any of it. And I basically, I looked around the house and I said, you're cute and all, but I gotta go.
You just felt like heavy, like I got to get out of here. This is crushing me, right?
I couldn't. So that seemed to be a big motivation for him. He started cleaning his house.
Okay.
And at the time, it was a little painful because he would just load up truckloads and take them to Goodwill. And I would say to him things like, my friend Tony's in the estate sale business. You could just give this to her and she would sell it and give you cash. He said, nope, I just got to get it out of here. Got to get it out. And so I saw thousands and thousands of dollars go out the door. But things like his wife had 80 pairs of jeans and they were all brand new.
Wait, I forgot to ask you where you're located.
I'm in Fort Worth, Texas.
Okay. So that's like a thrifting mecca. And I'm just imagining the listeners, the pickers, just salivating, like, where's this guy's house? And how can I go? And all the stuff that's in there. Yeah.
I know. And she had really good taste and just multiple pairs of cowboy boots and a lot of James Avery jewelry and just all kinds of stuff. And a lot of people had already gone through. The daughters came in, they took what they wanted. But, like most children, they don't want all their fathers and grandparents' knickknacks.
Mm-hmm.
So, fast forward to this year, uh, I I married Mike. Okay.
You
Now
did get married.
I did get married. I got married last year. Well,
Congratulations.
thank you.
Okay.
He got his house clean. Everything turned out okay. But there's still just a ton of stuff. I can't give up my apartment here in Fort Worth because there's literally no closet space. It's still full of everybody's stuff. He got rid of a lot. You can walk around, you can see the walls now. Um, and I thought, you know what, maybe I ought to look at eBay again.
You need a sanctuary when you're dealing with a situation like that with someone who has lived in the house a really long time and they have a lot of stuff. You need to be able to leave and go and breathe and have your space and not, because clutter is very emotional. It's like your
Yeah.
soul feels heavy when you're around a lot of clutter. And I'm completely on board with that decision. I support you in that 100% to have your little sanctuary where you can just go and be around your own stuff and
Exactly.
just take a breather, because maybe you're like me, that when you're in that situation, you're at his house, you're constantly wanting to work on everything and clean this out and let's get rid of this today. And it doesn't go away because it's in front of you all the time.
It's so true. And he needed time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he'd only been she just passed away 10 months before I met him. So he's had to have time to let go of things in stages
Mm-hmm.
and really evaluate if he's ready to let it go, if he wants to keep it.
Mm-hmm.
But one day I looked up on a shelf. Way up high on this shelf, there was this I don't even know, a porcelain piece. It was like flowers. And I took a picture of it and I Google searched it. It's this Italian thing that sold for $300 at auction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I had an aunt married to my dad's brother who was in the Air Force, and they lived in Italy for a while when we were little kids. And they brought my mom back some of that stuff. I can't remember the brand names of it, but it's beautiful. It's like porcelain and it's flowers, and the petals
Yes.
are very intricate and beautiful.
And
And yeah,
delicate.
those are valuable. They're a little tricky to ship. You got to be careful, but yeah, I know what
Right.
you're talking about. Mm-hmm.
Well, when I pointed that out to him, I think that was a real eye opener for him. So then he was like all on board. He would bring me things. How much do you think I can get from this? He used to be a merchant marine and work on ships, so he's got a lot of antique stuff.
Oh, fascinating.
So he's getting all excited, and so this was just last month, okay? And I had zero sales for many, many, many months. And I started looking around on the internet to get some education, finally, after all
Mhm.
these years. And Suzanne, I picked you out of all the other podcasts out there, primarily because your last name was Wells, and the guy, I mean, his last name is Mike Wells. I thought, oh, that's my gal right there.
Oh, okay. Well, that is my married name when I got married in 88. And my maiden name, no one can ever spell it right. So I just kept that. And for my kids' sake, like
Oh, yeah.
so that our last names would be the same and all that kind
Always
of stuff.
important.
But okay, yeah, so that worked in my favor. Great.
It did, it did. And I started listening to your podcast and watching your premium content library and learning these. So I've made a lot of changes to how I do things. And I started, I'll tell you, last month I sold 7 things and made $430 just by implementing what I've learned.
Excellent.
Thank you. I really, but I started using AI in my day job. I'm a freelance marketing consultant. So for clients, I build them websites and I write a lot of blogs, a lot of e-newsletters, a lot of social media, and they're all trying to outrank their competitors. So
Mhm.
I've learned that words matter
Mhm.
and how you name photographs matter.
Yes.
So I started incorporating all of that knowledge into how I posted things on eBay. And I also, here's a good bit of advice that you gave at one point was be careful about designer items on eBay because people will get your item, wear it to their class reunion, and then return it within your 30-day return window.
Mhm.
Also, that you can get your personal eBay site banned if that Coach bag you're selling isn't really Coach. But the other day I came home and Mike goes, Paula, I have all of my childhood G.I. Joe dolls. Oh, yeah. And my little ears perked up. I'm like, really, dear? Like, how many do you have?
What do you mean by all of them? Could you be more specific?
Oh my God. He goes, I don't know, a few boxes. Do you want me to get them out of storage? I said, why, yes. Yes, I do.
Let me help you. Let's go right now.
So he brings in these 4 shipping container sized. I mean, they're 5 feet wide and a few feet tall, and he stacks them up, and they're taller than me, and I'm
Oh my
5'6". I mean, this is how many GI Joe dolls he has. So I said, you know what, honey, we're going to Europe. I said, I'm gonna everything I sell on eBay and Poshmark, I'm gonna put it in a savings account, and I'm going into the eBay business. So that's how I got started. I have a goal. I learned this from one of your podcast interviewees. I'm trying to post something every day for the rest of the year. So
Great goal.
I set up a process. I take photographs in the morning, and I've developed a process with AI, which I want to talk to you about more because there's pros and cons to AI. It's
Yes,
not.
there are. And it's such a buzzword right now. You have to be careful what you do and where the AI is pulling the information from to make sure that you're not violating any copyright laws, especially with photos.
Oh my gosh, yes, so many things. And not everything on the internet is accurate.
Yeah, that was very true when I started all this eBay mentoring stuff. It was like so much of it about eBay was wrong. There's no internet police. There's no governing body that checks and makes sure what you're saying is accurate.
Right.
And sometimes people just don't know and they just guess. But sometimes they look it up and they get wrong information.
And let's face it, AI, as helpful as it is, it can also be a little creepy, especially when it comes to images. I'm not a huge fan of the image generator because sometimes I've tried to do them for my work, and I'll get somebody's hand and it'll have like 7 fingers. It just does weird, creepy things.
Yes, I saw something the other day and it said you can tell if something's AI. Look at the people's hands. Because either it'll be like the wrong age hand or it'll be missing fingers or something will be not human about it.
Yeah, a friend of mine tried to create a coloring book using AI, and she's a marriage counselor, client of mine too, and she was describing these things. And it was generating cartoon images that would be great for a coloring book. But the couple, they'd have their arms around each other, but then there'd be like this 5th arm that would come out of nowhere. And none of it was usable. And at the end of the day, none of it was usable. So, but I have found it, for me, I'm so new in my eBay journey. I know less than nothing. So I'm finding it very helpful for just what is this item? What is this crazy
Right.
thing I'm looking at? And what's the price range on it? So I developed a process. I use Google Gemini. And
Okay.
a lot of people ask me, "Oh, is ChatGPT better?" They're all fine, but and I don't find much difference between those two. But the reason I use Gemini is I started a separate account just for my eBay business. And I do this with all my clients also because my client base is diversified. So when I'm working, I have a client that's an animal rescue.
Because it learns you, doesn't it? It's
It
intuitive,
learns you.
like Apple products. It learns what your next step's going to be.
Yes. And I was using my general account for this eBay stuff, and it would finish doing the research and say, would you like me to make a posting to put this on the Brit website? And I'm like, no. That's good. So I started a separate Google account, and I go to Gemini via Google, and I started a conversation with Gemini. And I said, I'm an eBay reseller, And I told Gemini I was an experienced one because I didn't want Gemini to teach me how to, start a listing on eBay. I already know how to start it.
Right. Yeah. Like be sure to fill in the item specifics and all the
Right.
stuff you already know. Right.
Right. But what I do is I'll take photographs and I'll upload it to my prompt. And I have this general prompt that says, "What is this? Please conduct," and I know what it is. It's a Seattle Seahawks ball cap. But I say, "What is this? Please conduct pricing research and write an SEO optimized title." And I've already told Gemini, I want the SEO title, I want the first 3 words to be the most important. Again, that's something I learned from somebody you interviewed on
That
your
was Holly, I
podcast.
believe. Holly that sells the VCRs. She was talking about that. The first 3
Yeah.
words.
She heard that in a
And
car
that's
ride.
really difficult.
It is. You come close, 3 or 4 words, but I took
Right.
her so I told Gemini, "Hey, I want you to do this on all of them going forward." And now it
Mhm.
knows to do that for me. And then I said, "And write me a succinct description." Because you know how overly florid some of these descriptions are. And they make your eyes roll. Nobody wants to read all that, right? So,
Nobody wants to know that your neighbors will be stunned at this beautiful sunflower painting in your dining room. Like nobody, that's just a waste of words.
I know, right? So, but by telling that Gemini account I want succinct descriptions, I don't get all that marketing BS. Now, sometimes I want some of it, and I might go back and say, "Can you add a little marketing flair to this description?" If I feel like it needs it. So it can adapt, it can change. And so far, I'm having good luck, but the pricing, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm pricing things a bit on the high side, but
Mhm.
like you said, you can always go in and lower the price later. Right now, my main goal is to learn as much as I can and get one item posted every day through the end of the year and survive the holidays. I want to be able
Right.
to have a holiday here or there. So,
Right. Well, and the pricing that will come with time because it all depends on the seller's strategy. What's their business model? You can look up items and you will see prices all over the place. And I say that all the time. Yeah, prices were all over the place on this. What am I happy with? Or go with the highest one, have best offer and see what you get. And then you can say, okay, well, looks like the market is only going to demand this price. Because if you get 5 offers on it within the same price range, that's telling you something. So,
yes,
and you don't know. Sometimes I learned this selling on Amazon. Sometimes sellers will find the same thing over and over again, so they will leave a listing open and they will just price it insanely high, like nobody would ever buy it. But when they find it again, they just do a quantity of one, and relaunch it. So you have to factor all that in when you're looking at pricing.
interesting. Well, there's a lot to learn in this business, and it's
Yeah.
so much fun. And I find it so much more fun now than I did before because now I've had the experience of watching Tony run her estate sale business. Oh, and honey, if you can get a girlfriend in the estate sale business, do it. Take them out to lunch because she lets me come and do a pre-sale at all of her sales. So I get to go in and pick before everybody else.
Oh, okay.
And I had another girlfriend. She decided to do her own. Her mother had just passed, and her mother was a lover of purses and had just hundreds of purses. And so my friend, bless her heart, she had an estate sale and said every purse is $3. Well, I dug through there and I found some Coach purses that had never been used. I wore one of them for a long time, but it's just those estate sales, if you can get in early, they're great.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's some treasures for sure. And the objective is to get the stuff sold
Yeah.
because the owner or the estate sale company, like they don't want to pack all this stuff up and have to do something with it.
No.
So that's why, like, sometimes on the last day, it's fill a bag for $10, or they just want to get it out of there. And they're finding that fine line between making as much money for the client as they can and having as few leftovers as they can.
So it's been quite a journey, but I feel like now I'm getting the education that I had missed in all the years before when I tried to do this sort of thing.
Mhm.
So I'm having a lot more fun this time around.
Yeah, the
And
timing
just
is
having a
perfect.
good phone camera. Yeah.
And
Yeah, I've
and
got
I can see how
footage
it
on.
would be more fun when you have 8,000 tubs of vintage GI Joes. That's going to make it more fun.
Well, and I have an offer in front of me. Tony has a friend who is a GI Joe collector, and he is itching to come out, and he might just buy the whole lot off me. So I
Oh,
have,
perfect.
yeah, because there's no shortage of things in Mike's house,
Right.
and even my own stuff and my own addiction to going to estate sales.
And the situation with Mike's house is kind of like the estate sale. You want to rehome as much as you can and make a decent amount of money without giving things away. But sometimes you might have that buyer in hand, that GI Joe guy, and if he's there and he offers you X $1,000 for these things, and let him take them, and if he wants to resell them, sometimes you just have to do that. I sold something the other day. It was a vintage Zodiac needlepoint. It was like a wheel with all the signs on it, and it could be a wall hanging, it could be a pillow cover. It was like 12 by 12. It was pretty big, and I got it at an estate sale for like $10, and I'd had it up there for 6 months or so, $100. Somebody offered me 75, so I'm like, okay, I took it. And it went to a vintage store on Sunset Boulevard in Los Angeles. Because I was like, where's this going? What are they going to do with it? And I put that on the Money Making Mondays, and somebody's like, oh, they're probably going to resell it for 300 or 400. And I'm like, okay,
Good for them.
I can't control that. I've had it. It was a good flip. Okay. That's fine. If they want to hang it in their store for 3 years, it's a beautiful piece of work to look at. So, okay. But you kind of have to find that balance between rehoming all the stuff and making money and feeling okay about it.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting when you think about the life cycle of some products, what they go through. It's like they have their own lives. Someone probably handmade that piece that you're talking about.
Oh yeah, it was definitely handmade. It was on an online auction, and it was just this heap of all this needlework.
Oh,
And like they didn't even take pictures of each individual thing.
oh,
And
wow.
so I just zoomed in on the pictures, and this was on the very bottom, and all I saw was like 2 or 3 of the zodiac signs. And I'm like, that stuff is hot. People love that, especially if it's vintage. So I paid $10 for all of it. And
fantastic.
and it turned out well. Sometimes it doesn't turn out well. Stuff is stained. You can't see. It's a gamble when you can't examine it in person. And
Sure.
a lot of these estate sale companies that do these online sales, like they don't have time to go back and take more pictures for you. Sometimes they will, but they're dealing with thousands of items. They don't have time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. They got to move it.
Yeah.
So I never regret resellers. In fact, Tony has made so many friends with resellers. It's kind of what she's known for. So when she gets in albums, she's got somebody she can call that'll come get albums. She's a very social person and doesn't want to sit down in front of a computer to do eBay.
Right.
For her, it's all about wheeling and dealing on the phone.
And the hands-on with the items, like I get that part. That's why we love treasure hunting, is you're there up close and personal, seeing all these things. And that is a big part of the business, is the hands-on part.
And it's so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping to be better at it than beating. I hope I'm not just good at buying things.
Well, sounds like if you did $400 in a month and you're pretty new to it, that's excellent.
Yeah, I'd like to show you my AI process and how I use discernment.
Okay,
And how I
let's
try to teach it because, like we said, not everything out there is accurate, but
right. Sure.
well, first thing I want to show you is Google Gemini. My very first prompt when I when I decided to use this account just for selling is I told it I have many items in my home to sell on eBay. I've been an eBay reseller for many years and would like your assistance with product and pricing research as well as writing SEO titles and product descriptions. I was told by an eBay coach that the first 3 words of a product title are the most significant. So here I'm giving Gemini specific instructions. In my next chat, I will upload photos of an item for you to research, but first I have a couple of questions. So my first question was, will you retain this information for future chats? And number 2, is there a limit on the number of photos I can share with you on my current plan, which in this version, I just have the free plan. I'm using the free Gemini. And so here's its answer. It's so kind. I just know that Gemini is a librarian. Gemini is that friendly librarian that helps you with your homework. Anyway, it says, I'd be happy to assist you with your eBay reselling. Your experience and knowledge is great, blah, blah, blah. Question number 1, will you retain this information for future chats? Yes, I've stored the key details about your request. And then it goes on to tell me, you can always ask me to forget things or manage what I've saved for you at this link, which is nice because what if we go to the next eBay conference and they say, no, 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 it's the first 5 words are the most important, or the
Right.
first 2 words, I can go in and I can change that over
And
here.
you can guarantee that with reselling, things are going to change. Yep.
Will be changes. And then the second question I was asking, how many images can I upload for Gemini to figure out the item, what the item I'm trying to sell is? And basically it said, 10 images or less, you're going to be fine, as long as they're not, overly gigantic. So let's see here. So the first thing I did was, I'd like to sell this item on eBay. Please tell me what it is. Conduct pricing research and write an SEO optimized title for eBay and a succinct description, because I wanted a description that wasn't overly florid with too much marketing. It's simply a Seattle Seahawks Santa hat. So it wasn't that big of a deal, but I made a mistake on this prompt. I accidentally turned on this thing called deep research. So and I'm wondering, why is this taking so long? And it turned out it did all this research. It's like a college textbook here with all
Oh,
this
good
stuff.
grief.
And it's just a Santa hat. It's a Santa hat. So I closed that out and I went back and I said, please give me a suggested buy it now price, an SEO optimized title, and a succinct eBay description. So honestly, I didn't even read all that deep research.
Because you put in eBay description with 50 words or less, and that way it would be shorter.
Yeah, you could do that. Absolutely. So it gave me a buy it now price of $27.99. I think I ended up posting it for 25 or 24.
That's fair. That sounds right.
Yeah, but I liked this title. It was a little bit too long for eBay. So once I figure out how many characters can be in that title, I think I'll go back to Gemini and say, please keep the titles at, 65 characters less, or whatever it turns out to be. I don't know what that is just yet.
On eBay, it's 80 characters.
80 characters. I'm going to write that down. Thank you. And then for my description, you have to read, because if you'll notice, this first paragraph is not part of the description. It's Gemini telling me what it's done.
Okay.
So the description really started right here and goes all the way down to here. And I do read through these. Sometimes I might take out a description or something if I don't feel like it's just right. You do need to read them. But all of this looked pretty good to me. And so I went over, copied and pasted all of this, uploaded my images. I did rename the hat, something like NFL Seattle Seahawks Santa hat.
So you can save these results on
Yeah.
your Gemini account.
So, yes, you can go back to this conversation, and it does way more analysis than I need. So, truth be told, I don't always read every single word of this analysis. I just
Right.
kind of look at the prices and pick one and go with it. But I do rename the titles over here so I know where I've listed it.
Mhm.
And then this one, I just asked a question because I found this Seahawks ball cap and the Seahawks Santa hat at a garage sale last weekend for $1 a piece. And my question was, should I sell these separately or as a set? Because, we're coming up on the holiday season. And so I asked eBay or Gemini this question, and it gave me some good logic. And its ultimate recommendation was to sell them separately. But it gave me some pros and cons. But it's just nice to be able to ask this and look at its reasoning.
Okay.
At
Now, so you said you just have the free account.
free Gemini account. Yeah. I have a pro account on another Gmail address, and I can't tell the difference. I really cannot tell what I'm getting. And there may be a limit on how many questions you can ask. I know there is with ChatGPT, but I haven't run into. In fact, let's just ask. Let's see. I'm going to come over here and new chat. Is there a limit on the number of chats I can have with you today? Is that what we want to ask?
Or with the subscription I have, or whatever they call it.
With my current plan.
Perfect.
I know there is a limit with ChatGPT.
I'll research that and put it in later. That's fine.
There you go. Well, I have an item for us to test.
Great.
And Suzanne, I picked this item just for you because I know you have experience selling Disney collectibles, or as I learned from you, Disneyana.
Oh, from the premium library. Those,
yes,
there's like 6 lessons about different Disney things. The item we are researching is a ceramic figurine of Lucifer the cat from the Cinderella story. It has the box and the certificate of authenticity. I'll do my quick and dirty research here, and I start on eBay just to see if there's anything. And it's ceramic, and I go back a year on my first search just to give. Well, this is probably something there's not going to be a whole lot of. It's not like iPhone cases where there's going to be thousands. Okay. Sure. And I always sort by price. And then you always want to look at how many are active, because the market might be flooded. So 67 active listings, that's kind of a lot.
Yeah.
For something so specific. But you never know. You might have, the paperwork might do it. So, and then the next thing is, let me move this. Let's go to.
I just took a screenshot of the cat face on from the movie that I took.
Uh-huh.
So if you want, we can try this again. I'm just going to use the one photo.
I was going to just drop it into Google Images and see. Okay. Oh yeah, that's the same one. That's the same one that was pulling up.
I took a movie of it, and I have this little rotating thing that rotates items.
Oh, cool.
So I just took a screenshot of that. So let's give this a whirl again. So this Disney figurine, let's see what it does with it. And just using one photo, I'll go back in and tell it that I have a certificate of authentication.
Yeah, just put COA. Yeah. That's the reseller lingo, COA, certificate of authenticity. Way shorter to say and type.
Okay, so I'm going to say yes, do the research plan. I also have the COA and the original box. Gives me an item ID. Original box, mint in box, or like new. That's true. Oh my.
Yeah, we did see one that was 125. All depends on how many are for sale at the same time. And have they done the research? Have they done it correctly? Are they, a long tail item seller where they're okay to wait?
Yes.
Some people aren't. That's why I don't sell stuff for other people, is because they're in so much of a hurry. They want the money tomorrow. And I'm like, right. It may not sell for a year or two. You got to be patient with this. And
they want it right now. They do. And they want top dollar.
Or maybe they have something, a bill they have to pay, or some, like they need money there's a reason they're in a hurry.
Oh yeah.
So
that's our hearts.
That's what we compete against every day, is, okay, I got to wait for all these to sell out. And then mine might be the only one left, or me and the other higher price people might be the only ones left because these others are willing to take so much less.
Well, I think what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to put a buy it now price at 174, and I'll take offers at 150 because again, I have zero money into this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just been on a shelf. The box is a tiny bit worn,
Mm-hmm.
but and I will just keep working with Gemini to make sure that my description describes the box. And this is fine. This isn't too long.
No, and that Disney stuff is serious business.
Oh wow.
These people, well, my mom lived near Orlando for a while before she passed, and I'd go down there and go to the thrift stores, and there's all the Disney stuff. And, they talked about friends that, oh, their whole house is Disney, or at Christmas, they have 3 Disney Christmas rooms and they want all the, every single Christopher Radko Christmas Disney thing that was ever made. And,
Wow.
they're serious about their collection, like the Barbie people, they're serious about it. So do your research, be confident in your research. And especially if it's older, it's only going to get more valuable because there's fewer of them.
That's true. Very true.
So you may want to revisit every 6 months and see where your pricing's falling. But trust me, when adult children inherit their parents' Disney collection of stuff, they may want to just get rid of it as fast as they can. Maybe they hate it. Maybe they never wanted it in the first place and they just want to rehome it and get something. And so you just never know what your competitors are charging until you look at the active listings.
Well, and so I heard someone say the other day they don't like going to the thrift stores because they think it's already all been picked over and overpriced. But if you hit it on the day that someone shows up with their a carload of this stuff, there's still deals to be found.
Yeah, you just have to believe and it will come to you. But I've had that happen where, like, I see him coming out of the back, rolling that cart out, and it's all this stuff, like, wait, somebody must have just dropped that off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really admire these pickers that have a strategy and they go, they've done it so long. They just go into a store and the wife will take one side of the store and the husband will take the other, and they have their niches. And, it's fascinating how people do. And there's enough room in this industry for everybody to have their own niche, their own way to do things. There are people that are just going to hate AI. They've been doing this long enough. They don't need it. But somebody like me, I need all the help I can get. I'm just starting out. I have zero experience. I don't know what half the stuff is. So for me, it's been very helpful.
Well, what is your take on AI photos? Not just the background change, but the actual photo of the item. Because this kind of straddles some eBay rules.
Use a tool called Canva for creating graphics for social media posts for my clients. And they have an AI generative tool within Canva that allows you to create a design and presuppose it upon a coffee mug or a model if it's a t-shirt design. So you can do a lot of these things. I don't want to get item not as described because tools like ChatGPT, they can pull images from everywhere. They could pull a brand new image from Land's End of this item, and yet maybe the image I'm selling has a little, it's faded or a little scratch here or there. It's not brand new. I don't want to have to deal with the return. So there's so many things that can go wrong. And remember earlier I said use discernment and everything with AI. That's way too much discernment for me. Because I just want to get stuff listed. My goal is to list a thing every day. So anything that might possibly get me in trouble or slow me down, I'm just not going to do it. I mean, the pictures I take with my iPhone are good enough. If the lighting is good, if it's not wrinkled and I lay it out, if I take more care than I did on the Disney cat, I have pretty good luck just with my iPhone that I'm going to always have an iPhone no matter what, or Android. They all have great cameras in them these days. So no, I'm not for that. It's sneaky. When I used to teach classes on marketing, and I would tell my students, people know when you're trying to BS them. They can smell it, they can sense it when you're being sneaky or deceptive. So just don't do it. Be authentic. If you're selling yourself and your personal services, just if you don't know how to do something, don't pretend like you do. You're gonna get found out. And that's the same thing with using false images in advertising. In fact, I think there's laws against it.
Well,
Right?
the actual
Bait and
eBay
switch.
rule, yeah, the eBay rule for the listeners, in case you don't know, is you must take your own photos
There you go.
unless you have permission from the owner of the photo or the photo is in the eBay stock catalog, which that's more for like products new in the box.
Ah.
So this is rampant on eBay. People break this rule all the time and they just go to the, like you said, LL Bean website and, oh, here's the code I'm selling. I'm just going to grab this picture because it's better than mine.
Yeah.
But that is outright theft. That is a violation of copyright because those companies have paid a photographer, they have paid models, they have paid website designers. They paid to have that photo made. It belongs to them.
Oh wow.
You
Yeah.
are
That's
not going to get permission from LL Bean to ever use that. Also, this is very dangerous with new items because they're new in the stock photos. And if you're selling used clothing, used anything, it's not going to be perfect like the brand new photo. It may have faded, it may have some small blemish, it may be missing a button, it may have a chip or a crack, whatever. And that is where you're going to get an INAD, and you get too many of them, then you get in trouble. Just for the sellers out there, AI in photos, you want to use that carefully. Yes, the background tool, eBay has that where you can fool around with your background and make it cute and fun. But you are not allowed to just go and take photos off the internet.
Oh gosh.
That's
No,
not
that
in the public domain. That is
right.
not. If you're using an AI tool to create a photo, the AI tool could be pulling those photos from these sites where they're copyrighted.
Ah.
And another reselling site. Like you said, you do things the laziest way. This is
Yeah,
not
but I
a
don't want to get in
place
trouble either.
where, and some people say, oh, I have a stock photo because I want to show how it looks on a model and all that. No, you can't do that.
Oh
Great.
my.
Get your neighbor to come over and model it and take a picture of that, or get a mannequin. You got to be real careful because also sellers use that stock photo that they're not supposed to, or this AI image as their gallery photo. And a lot of buyers don't look past that gallery photo. Oh, this is a beautiful coat. I'm going to buy it. And they don't look at all the other pictures. So it is deceptive. And you do have to be careful, or you're not going to be on eBay much longer, especially with used clothing. Take your own photos. That is in the eBay handbook or whatever you call it. That is a policy. You cannot use stock photos without permission from the owner or unless it's in the eBay catalog. That's the end of my rant.
And with technology being the way it is, I'm sure it's just a short amount of time before eBay's technology will be able to detect these.
Oh,
So,
right. And I'm waiting for when eBay is searchable by image, just like Google Lens. How great would that be to drop it into the eBay research tool and have it find it based on image?
yeah, hey, I'm sure
Yeah,
it's coming.
It took us a long time to get here, to get research on the app and to, get the AI tools and the background removal tool on eBay. It's not perfect. Sometimes it takes out too much. Sometimes it doesn't take out enough. And there's no like eraser or put back tool to make it, to fix it. You have to go to Canva, or I think Photo Room is one. I use PicMonkey for all my other stuff too. But it's an evolution. These things will get better over time, but you just have to be careful.
And I'm very grateful that eBay is attempting to keep up with the times and to give us
Yes.
tools as sellers. And like I said, it may not be all perfect. It's all an evolution, but I think that it's a platform that's going to be there for us.
Mhm.
Future, I don't see eBay going away anytime soon. At least I hope not, because I'm having the time of my life on it right now.
Well, and you weren't around on eBay back in the day, but like we didn't even have internet on our phones. I would go to thrift stores and write things down in a little notebook and then go to the nearest library
Oh
and
my
use
gosh.
their computer to look it up
Oh my
because
God.
we didn't all have, internet in our pocket. And then
Yeah.
that graduated to having a laptop that I could just go somewhere that had internet. And I would go and look up these things because I was poor. I didn't have a lot of money to waste. And
Yeah.
then I'd figure it out. And then I'd go back to the store and buy the ones that were wins. And
Oh,
like the fact that you can just look at your phone and figure it all out right there is still amazing to me.
well, I want to come visit you and go shopping with you sometime. I'd love to see.
No, I want to come go shopping with you.
Oh, I do know some great stores. We've got some
Yeah.
cool ones here in Fort Worth.
Yeah, we've had several guests from the Dallas Fort Worth area, and it's just I hear everything's great. Thrift stores, the estate sales, the garage sales. You're in a great location to
Yeah,
launch into this once you are forced to have a side hustle.
that's right. Hey,
Yeah,
a girl's got to keep her options open, right?
that's right. Okay, well, we've been going for quite a while here, and I think you've given us some great information.
Well,
We'll
thank
have
you.
you on again in a few months, maybe. Let's give it 6 months, maybe, and you can catch us up on what you've learned.
I'd love to. I had so much fun talking with you today. Thanks a lot.
Well, I appreciate it because I've been dying to learn about this, so you really helped me too.
Oh,
So,
good,
uh,
good.
so what are you up to this afternoon? Your regular job?
Client meetings, yes. I've got some self-care to take of. Just it's a hodgepodge when you work for yourself. So,
Well, it's Tuesday, which
mm,
means it's senior day.
I know.
Means I'm going to some of the Goodwills around me in my new location
Oh,
so I can do the little recon on senior day. Like, is this like no way I'm not doing that again? Too many people, or is it like well, it's all right? So I like to wait until early afternoon because it seems like the diehards, the ones that buy all the glass and stuff, they like to be there when the store
when
opens.
they open. I have
And
I have a Goodwill probably a mile from my house, and every Tuesday morning I see them out there, and I'm like, oh, get it. I have girlfriends that go on Tuesdays, but I like that strategy. I might just
it's
pop in.
it's like a social event. So I'm okay with that, but I feel like in my experience of going on senior day, even when I wasn't a senior, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
Tuesday, I better not go. But they're all in there congregated and chatting, and like then they all go out to lunch afterwards, and it's like a whole social event. So I kind of wait for them to clear out because you know what? They're not looking for what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
All the little tchotchkes and hodgepodge things that their kids are like, why did you buy this? So anyway, well, I will let you go and get on with your day. And thanks again for all that valuable information.
Well, thank you. I'll talk to you later, Suzanne.
Good luck with the GI Joes.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks. I'm gonna need it.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.
Okay, I said I would address a few issues here at the end. First of all, Gemini subscription levels. And Paula said that she uses the free one. So the levels are based on what the tool does, not necessarily how many questions you put into it. So the standard Gemini is free. And then the next level up is Gemini Advanced for $19.99 a month. So I'm going to refer you to the pricing schedule. Just Google Gemini pricing plans and you can see the different levels and what they do. Paula said that she really doesn't need any more than what the free version does, so hopefully you won't either. Now, there was more to this conversation, But since a podcast is not visual, I will add that to the premium library as a lesson about using Gemini and AI for eBay. And Paula has given me permission to use our Zoom screen sharing to help others learn. I am still in the process of creating that lesson, and I will let you know when that information has been added. So if you are not a member of my online school, the Premium Library, you can join for a month if you want to access and download the lesson for future use. So I will announce when the AI lesson has been uploaded so you have the full month to access it. And who knows, you may see all the other information in the Premium Library and decide to stay longer. Next week, my guest is Linda, who is a newer seller but has achieved remarkable success. Thank you for tuning in this week and every week, and I hope you have a profitable and productive week on eBay. Talk to you next time. Bye, everybody.